Middletown High School for some October fall football between the visiting Goldbacks of Newberg Free Academy and your hometown Midi Bears. I'm Ed Estrada up in the press box along with Jeff Shuko, your public address announcer. This evening, the Midi Bears come in with a record of 1-4, 1-0 in divisional play. They'll take on the Goldbacks, who come in with a record of 3-2, 1-1 in divisional play. So this is a big matchup between both the Goldbacks and for the Midi Bears. At halftime, we'll have the Middletown Youth Football Program introduced, as well as our Middletown High School cheerleaders and our marching middies. But in the meantime, let's introduce to you your Middletown Midi Bears.
Joe Mann, defensive back receiver.
James Mays, wide receiver, cornerback.
Chase Blackwood, linebacker.
Joseph Royal, quarterback, safety.
Josh Simon, linebacker, running back.
Aiden Barbosa, receiver, safety.
Christian Ethier, running back, linebacker.
Javion Rodan, running back, corner.
Jaden Faison, DN, running back.
Kayvon Scott, wide receiver, safety.
Ryan Guevara, wide receiver, safety.
Julian Garcia, wide receiver and corner.
Kayshawn Smith, DB, running back.
Anthony Russo, quarterback, safety.
Amir Lewis, receiver, linebacker.
Jelani Graham, running back, inside linebacker.
Giovanni Pierre, running back, linebacker.
Rashad Huntington, middle linebacker, fullback.
Israel Lifa, wide receiver and cornerback.
Andrew Smith, DB.
Hector LeBron, linebacker.
Isaiah Sepulveda, running back and linebacker.
Kayvon Harrison, receiver, DB.
Rudy Cherry, running back, outside linebacker.
Punta Kogo, defensive back.
Jaden Sasha, wide receiver, safety.
Marquise Burgos, running back, inside linebacker.
Eric Merlo, D-line.
Isaiah Judge, O-line, D-line.
Tristan Williams, tackle.
Jameson Paz, O-line, D-line.
Matthias McQueen, guard DM.
Brian Hagan, O-line, D-line.
Gozi Belichukwu, D-line.
Seth Monterey, defensive line.
Nathaniel Hannon, offensive lineman.
Noah Rodriguez, O-line, D-line.
Christian Torres, O-line, D-line.
Joseph Arzio, O-line, D-line, punter.
Damian Douglas, O-line, D-line.
Liam Chester, DN.
Isaiah Torres, O-line, D-line.
David Suazo, kicker.
Jason Lichtenstein, line coach.
Chris Conklin, defensive coordinator.
Phil Carcialetti, quarterback coach.
Mike Conklin, tight ends, inside linebacker coach.
Bobby Mangano, offensive coordinator.
Tim Strenfeld, head coach. Let's go Middletown!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you've seen the video, so let's introduce the real thing. Here they are, your 2024 Middletown Middies. And the visitors from just down I-84 in Newburgh, the Newberg Free Academy Goldbacks. And having a nice round of applause for all of our youth football players and coaches who are coming through the cheerleaders right now and will be playing on the high school turf at halftime. We look forward to watching them play and watching the next generation of middies grow up right in front of our eyes. The captains from both teams will be meeting at midfield. For the middies, it is number 15, Jelani Graham, number 0, Joseph Mann, number 5, Aiden Barbosa, and number 24, Rudy Cherry. And for the Goldbacks of Newburgh, it is number 8, Chris Leggett, number 6, Dejan Johnson, number 67, Christian Ihaz, and number 1, Bruce Montgomery.
Middletown has won the toss. They've deferred their option to the second half. Newberg is going to receive. Captain, shake hands.
Middletown has won the toss and will defer their option to the second half. That means we will see the Goldback offense against the Middie defense. Our colors this evening are presented by the Middletown chapter of the NJROTC. They are Cadet Mackenzie Hagan, Cadet Lieutenant Haley McNamara, Cadet Genesis Campos, and Cadet Inderpreet Kaur. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise, remove your hats, and face the flag as we honor America and our soldiers stationed at home and abroad with the playing of our national anthem. Our national anthem will be played by the Middletown Marching Middies.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the Marching Middies performing our national anthem and our presentation of colors by the Middletown NJROTC program, led by Cadet Mackenzie Hagan, Cadet Lieutenant Haley McNamara, Cadet Genesis Campos, and Cadet Inderpreet Kaur. The Middy Bears, as I mentioned earlier, come in with a record of 1-4, but they are 1-0 in the division, which is the most important aspect when you're looking at playoff football here in Section 9. Newberg Free Academy coming in with a record of 3-2 and a record of 1-1. The Middy Bears won the toss. They've elected to defer, so we'll see the Goldback offense on the field here at Fowler, moving from left to right in the white uniforms, and the Middy Bear black and blue going from right to left, getting ready to kick off for the Middy Bears. Number 80, David Suazo Castillo, and back to receive the kick for the Goldbacks will be on the near side, number 9, Timothy Patterson. And on the far side, we have looks like 22 for NFA, Michael Chambliss Jr. They've set themselves up at the 15-yard line. A big game here for both Middletown and Newburgh. The Goldbacks coming off of a couple of losses a couple of weeks ago, back-to-back to Cornwall and Monroe-Woodbury. The Middy Bears with 3 opening season losses to Baldwinsville, Warwick, and Port Jervis. Sandwiched in between another loss to Cornwall was a win against Kingston. So we're off and running here at a crisp, chilly October fall on the near side, near the 15-yard line. That's number 9, Patterson, up the middle still with a head of steam, falling short of just the 35-yard line where Newburgh will take over, 1st and 10. Newburgh, that is, coming off a 54-0 win over Valley Central. And the Middy Bears are going to try to avoid defensively the big play, which has haunted them so far this season. But a stellar performance, especially in the second half on the road at Cornwall, where the Middy Bears lost 17-12, but had an opportunity to win that ball game late on their last drive before falling short. So 1st and 10, the quarterback, Jason Barnwell for the Goldbacks. He's in the shotgun. That's number 1, Bruce Montgomery, their top running back, just to his right. The give up the middle to Montgomery. He's at the 35. Stopped cold by Middletown and finally brought down by number 5 for the Middy Bears. That's Aiden Barbosa. A nice job by Middletown on the opening play. Gets back to the line of scrimmage, does Montgomery. And it'll be 2nd and 10 for the Goldbacks. As I mentioned, Jason Barnwell, the quarterback for Newburgh, the sophomore, coming in at 6 feet, 175 pounds. He's in the shotgun. Montgomery to his right once again. Montgomery gets it at the 35, the 40. A lot of running room needed. Midfield across Middletown, into Middletown territory near the 45-yard line, and a big gainer of 21 yards on the play. Make it 22 on the carry for Montgomery. 1st and 10 for Newberg into Middletown territory at the 44-yard line. Small crowd on hand here at Fowler on this unusual Thursday football game due to the Jewish holidays. Middletown closed over the next couple of days. Montgomery once again, he's at the 40, finding a lot of running room, rolls over one of the Midi Bears would-be tackler. That was Jelani Graham trying to get a hold of him, but that's another first down going from the 44-yard line all the way to the 31, a 13-yard pickup for Montgomery. Want to welcome everybody joining us both on Midi TV and 845 Sports Nation on the simulcast. Mr. Ed Diller, our producer, and all the Gertex helping us out here at Middletown High School. From the 31, Barnwell's going to keep it this time, trying to cut back inside across the 30, near the 25, as a host of Midi Bears try to bring him down at the 26. So it's going to be a big 5-yard pickup on first down for Barnwell and the Goldbacks, bringing up a 2nd and 5 from the Middletown 26 on the opening drive. Monchery on the stop for Middletown. 9:40 remaining here in the opening quarter, the opening drive for Newberg. They're at the Middletown 26 with a 2nd and 5. Barnwell, Montgomery up the middle. Nice job that time from the front line for Middletown, led by number 75, Damian Douglas, coming up with the stop after a 2-yard pickup to the 24 for Montgomery. And a big 3rd down play for both teams here. Middletown on defense, Newberg on offense, but likely 2-down territory. No wind to speak of, with the flag still on the far side of the field. Temperature is about the mid-50s right now. Going to get into the 40s tonight here in the Hudson Valley. 3rd and 3. Montgomery on the far side, gets around the corner. He's got a lot of room at the 5 and into the end zone for a Newberg touchdown. 24 yards out, a touchdown for Newberg's Bruce Montgomery, and the Goldbacks with 8:41 remaining here in the first quarter take the opening drive 66 yards and a touchdown. Number 30 for the Goldbacks in to attempt the extra point. That's Chase Steiner off the hold of number 25, Joey Santo. The kick is up, and the kick is good. So with 8:41 remaining in the first quarter, the Goldbacks march at 66 yards, capped off by a Montgomery 24-yard touchdown run with a good extra point by Steiner, and it's 7-0 Newberg. Montgomery has had a big season so far for the Goldbacks. He put up 202 yards in their opening week win against Arlington. That was a 35-0 win for Newberg, and they followed that up with a 26-14 win against Menacing Valley. In that particular game, Barnwell was the star with 4 touchdowns on 10 of 13 passing for 206 yards. And then Montgomery's had a bunch of nice games since then, including last week against Valley Central when he carried the ball 18 times for 231 yards and 4 touchdowns. And he has kept that momentum going here this week in Middletown. See if the Midi Bears can answer right back. On the far side is number 7 receiving the kick, Javion Roldan. On the near side is number 11, Julian Garcia, getting ready to get the kickoff from Steiner. Steiner approaches the ball, Coming down at about the 2-yard line, Garcia with the ball at the 10, the 15, looking for some blockers at the 20. And he's finally brought down just short of the 25, where Middletown will take over 1st and 10. So if you know Middletown football, they've been led the last few years at the quarterback slot by JoJo Royal. But unfortunately, JoJo had surgery on his knee. And now for the Midi Bears, a new quarterback, number 13, the junior Anthony Russo, coming in at 5'10", 155 pounds. And Middletown will also try to get their running game going with number 15, Jelani Graham, who's to the left of Russo. And there's the give to Graham up the middle. Just back to the line of scrimmage, so no gain for Graham. Second and 10 for the Midi Bears. Two receivers on the near side for Middletown, one on the far side with Graham in the backfield with Russo, who's working from the shotgun. Back to pass, over the middle, Barbosa with the catch. And a nice quick tackle there by number 44 for the Goldbacks. That's Austin Lilla. Pick up a 4 on the play, on the reception. 3rd and 6 at the 27 for Middletown. They need to get over to the 34-yard line, make it 3rd and 6. Russo from the shotgun. Straight back to pass, looking downfield, one-on-one coverage, looking for a receiver. And it looked for a moment like he had number 1, James Mays, on the far side. Mays kind of held up on his route a little bit instead of running through the football, so it's overthrown for the incompletion, and it'll be a Middletown punt. Kayvon Scott in to punt the football. On the near side for Newberg is Liam Ellers, stationed at about his own 45-yard line. On the far side, that's Michael Chambliss Jr. It's a short punt on the near side, coming down near the Newberg side of the field, but it's still going to be on the Middletown side at about the 39-yard line. So favorable field position and holding a 7-0 lead for the Goldbacks as they will start their second offensive series, 1st and 10 from the Middletown 39. So a 66-yard drive, opening possession drive for the Goldbacks, and then a 3-and-out for Middletown. And the Midi Bears don't want to give up another score here, despite the fact the Goldbacks have the ball deep in their own in the Middletown territory. On the near side off the handoff, Chambliss Jr. tackled from behind. A nice job that time by number 8 for the Midi Bears, Jaden Faison, coming in and making the tackle from behind after a pickup of 1. Barnwell coming in off the sideline. Both quarterbacks quickly run to the sideline. They get their offensive play and then report back to their huddle. 2nd and 9. Montgomery to the left of Barnwell in the backfield. And that's going to be in motion, I believe, against Newberg.
Illegal procedure, offense. 5 yards, still 2nd down.
So the procedure call will cost Newberg 5 yards. Now going to make it 2nd and 14 from the Middletown 43. Newberg's going to have to call timeout here. There's only 8 seconds left on the play clock, and Barnwell hasn't even gotten to the huddle yet. And they're just waiting for it to go down to 0. So head coach Billy Bianco having to call a timeout here I think he looks a little perplexed that after the penalty, doesn't think that perhaps the play clock was restarted. But we have a timeout on the field. Newberg leading Middletown with 5:53 remaining in the first quarter. Ed Estrada along with Ed Diller bringing you all of the action, along with our Gertex here at Middletown High School, taking all the pictures behind the camera. The Goldbacks took the opening possession of the game and marched at 66 yards on the strength of a bunch of carries by Bruce Montgomery, who put it in from 24 yards out. And the extra point was good by Steiner. The Goldbacks with the touchdown, making it 7-0. And now they have their second possession after a Middletown 3-and-out on their opening series. Here in the early going, 61 yards on the ground for Bruce Montgomery with 5 carries and that touchdown. Got a rowdy bunch of Middletown youth football players in Division I, Division II, and Division III here this evening. They'll be playing at halftime for us. 2nd and 14, Barnwell from the shotgun. Straight back to pass, looking downfield, has to bring it down. Now on the near side, has a receiver almost coming up with a great one-handed catch for the Goldbacks was Jaden Hines before it finally falls off the fingertips. Closely followed behind by Barbosa. Good rush by that Middletown front line made Barnwell bring the ball back down after he initially just wanted to throw it up off the snap. So 3rd and 14, an opportunity here for the Middletown defense to get off the field. It's homecoming weekend for Middletown. Six on the clock, again on the game clock again. They do get it off Montgomery up the middle with the run, still on his feet. He shed the initial tackle, still on his feet inside the 25, and a big pickup for Bruce Montgomery, and he continues to chug along, gets it all the way down to the 22 for a 21-yard pickup, and he's picking up like 20 yards a clip. First and 10 for the Goldbacks from the Middletown 22. Montgomery again up the middle. That offensive line for Newberg doing a nice job. Before number 75 for the Midi Bears, Damian Douglas finally brings Montgomery down. It's a 4-yard pickup to the 23 for Montgomery. 2nd and 6 for Newberg at the Middletown 23. Mentioned earlier, Newburgh started the year 2-0 with wins over Arlington out of Section 1 in Minisink Valley before falling to Cornwall and Monroe, 2 of the premier teams in Section 9, and then rebounding last week with a big win over Valley Central. Off the fake, inside on the toss, a nice play that time on the connection to Jaden Hines from Barnwell. Takes the ball all the way down to the, see where they mark this football, inside the 10 to the 7-yard line. That was an 11-yard toss on the connection from Barnwell to Hines. 1st and goal for the Goldbacks for the Middletown 7. Barnwell, Montgomery's got it up the middle. Nothing doing this time. Defensively coming in on the stop, we've heard his name several times already this evening. Damian Douglas for the Midi Bears, the sophomore coming in at 6'1", 265, making his presence known on the front line. Clock continues to run. 3:10 remaining here in the first quarter. It's been all Newberg here. Only 4 plays on that Middletown offense, 3 and a punt. Montgomery to the right of Barnwell. 2nd and goal. Montgomery, a clear lane to the end zone, his second one of the evening, and it's 13-0 Newberg with 2:50 remaining in the first. Officially an 8-yard touchdown run for Bruce Montgomery, his second of the ball game. Steiner in to attempt the extra point. It's a good snap. The kick is up, and it is good. 14-0 for the Goldbacks after the extra point. And unfortunately, as we've seen so far here in the early going this year, for the Midi Bears, they find themselves with a big deficit early. The story so far has been the Newberg running game. And really, it's just been one person who's been doing all of the running, but he's made it count, and that's Bruce Montgomery. 94 yards so far for Montgomery on 8 carries. And 2 touchdowns. Steiner in to kick off for Newberg. Middletown will look to try to put some sort of a drive on here to keep their defense off the field. It's a short kick at about the 11, but fumbled by Garcia. Picks it right back up and still on his feet as he brings the ball across the 20-yard line. Similar start to their first offensive possession. Middletown will have it 1st and 10 from their own 21. For those of you who aren't up to speed on Middletown football, the Midi Bears graduated a lot of players last year, especially on the defensive side, but also on their offensive line. Ramir Bradley, Stefan Monchery, amongst Bryson Tibbs, amongst those who have graduated and are doing well at other locations at the next level. Russo this time is under center, right away to Jelani Graham, but number 6 for the Goldbacks was all over that as soon as the ball was snapped. Nice job by Dejon Johnson, the junior defensive back. And when the defensive back is on that front line making a stop, you know that they're thinking it's going to be Jelani Graham getting all of the snaps, or most of the snaps. Russo did throw it on the first offensive series, did connect on a 4-yarder and also had an incomplete pass. This time up the middle, a nice gainer that time for Middletown's number 8, Jaden Faison. They're going to mark the football at the 25-yard line, so a pickup of 4 for Faison, and it's going to bring up another 3rd down and 6 for Middletown, and they'll need to convert if they want to keep this defense off the field, as Newberg has dominated the time of possession here in the first quarter. 2 receivers on the near side, 1 to the far side. Russo this time from the shotgun. Back to pass. It's a quick slant inside to Barbosa at the 30-yard line, and coming from behind to make the stop for the Goldbacks. A nice hit. Stephen Jones, the senior defensive lineman, recognized the quick pass, came back to make the stop, and it'll be another Middletown 3-and-out with the punt coming from Kayvon Scott. After that first punt landed at the Middletown 40-yard line, this time the punt returners for the Goldbacks have themselves stationed at midfield. Scott, low liner, right at the 45-yard line to number 3. On the far side for the Goldbacks, he's at the 35, the 30, the 25, the 20. He's still got room down the sideline, smelling the end zone, and finally gets brought down inside, or they'll mark him right at the 5-yard line. That was a line drive to number 3, Liam Ellers, who took the football at about the 45-yard line and returns it 40 yards to the Middletown 5. Not enough air on that punt to allow special teams to recover. And when you have a short field, the end result is a near touchdown. And the Goldbacks looking to put up another score with 22 seconds left here in the first. New quarterback for Newberg this time is number 8, Chris Leggett. Might be a Wildcat. No, Montgomery into the end zone. 5 yards out, his third of the evening, and right away it's 20-0 here in the first for NFA. Two straight carries that results in touchdowns, one from 8 yards out, the other one from 5 for Montgomery. As I mentioned, his third touchdown here in the first quarter. Steiner's extra point is through the uprights, and with 16 seconds, not the start on homecoming weekend that Middletown wanted. They're trailing 21-0. Well, the good thing is the defense isn't going to be on here that long. They were only out there for one play. An unfortunate start for the Midi Bears here at Fowler on this Thursday night football. We'll see if Middletown can respond. They responded last week against Cornwall, a tough Green Dragon team that dominated Newburgh at Newburgh, and Middletown almost pulled off an upset on the road at Cornwall last week. They had trailed in that ball game 17-0 at halftime before putting up 12 in the second half and having an opportunity on their last drive to actually win that ball game late before falling short. Steiner's kick comes down at about the 5-yard line, across the 15 and the 20. Finally brought down, same area where they've started their last two possessions. That was Garcia once again on the return. Brings it back about 17 yards to the 22. Only 6 offensive plays for Middletown in this ball game. First and 10. Russo back to pass. Over the middle. Finds a receiver across the 25. A nice catch by Joseph Mann. And a good gainer, their best of the evening on first down for Middletown. And that'll be the last play of the first quarter. A first quarter that Middletown's going to want to erase from its memory banks. Ball's going to be marked at the 28-yard line, a 6-yard pickup. For Russo to Joseph Mann. Russo's 2 of 4 here early. As we get ready to start the second quarter, and Middletown really needing to put one together here as far as a drive is concerned, as they have not had a first down yet here through 1 quarter of play. Teams march to the other side of the field. You'll have Middletown in their black uniforms with white numbers going from left to right. And the Goldbacks with the familiar white road uniforms, blue numbers, and the gold Notre Dame-like helmets. 2nd and 4 for Middletown from their own 28-yard line. Trailing in the ball game 21-0, the first snap of the second quarter. Russo, straight back to pass, over the middle, has a receiver across midfield, pretty pass, still on his feet, and coming down the near sideline at the 40-yard line before he's finally driven out of bounds. For the Midi Bears is James May, a pretty pass. Russo to Mays. Middletown for the first time tonight has a first down, and it results in a catch that brings them into Newberg territory. 32 yards on the catch and throw, or throw and catch. And we'll see if that will provide the Midi Bears with some momentum here in the second quarter. Jelani Graham to the left in the backfield. Russo back to pass off the fake. A little screen pass was set up to Rudy Cherry. And if they could have connected, Cherry was a full head of steam headed towards the Newberg sideline, but it falls incomplete. Second and 10 for Middletown from the Newberg 40. Rolling towards his right, and the pass near the sideline. Couldn't connect with Barbosa, who did have some room there to come down with a catch. It would have been a first down, but the errant throw a little bit too much towards the sideline as Russo's momentum was headed in that direction. So it's going to be 3rd and 10, likely 4-down territory, down by 21 for Middletown. Two receivers on the near side for the Midi Bears, plus Cherry, the tight end. Back to pass. Russo over the middle. He's got Cherry. Going to be a first down and more inside the 25, near the Newberg 20. A nice little play call there by the Middletown coaching staff, and that results in a first down all the way down to about the 21-yard line. A 19-yard throw and catch from Russo to Cherry. And you gotta like seeing Middletown responding after falling behind 21-0 here with a nice looking drive. Graham this time is gonna get the football, and he's brought down by that front line for the Goldbacks. Might have picked up a yard to the 20. We'll give him 1. Malarkey, I believe, on the stop for the Goldbacks. 2nd and 9 for Middletown from the NFA 20. Two receivers on the far side. That's Joseph Mann and Aiden Barbosa for Middletown. Russo from the shotgun, looking towards the middle. Almost tried to find once again James May over the Middletown. It was good coverage, but he did have a little bit of an opening. Would have been a difficult throw and catch. And for the second time on this drive, Middletown has it 3rd down. Ball marked on the right hash at the 20, 3rd and 9 for the Middies. Jelani Graham in motion to the left. Going to set up a screen, but reading it. It was meant for Rudy Cherry, who did come down with it. But number 6 for the Goldbacks, Dejon Johnson, read it all the way. And instead, it is a 2-yard loss to the 27-yard line, and it's going to bring up 4th down for Middletown. No doubt about it, going for it here, as head coach Tim Strenfeld sends in the play with Russo on 4th and 11. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a toss to the end zone here. Back to pass is Russo, waiting for his receivers to get downfield, and it's almost intercepted by number 3, Liam Ellers. There was no Middletown wide receiver in the area. Looked like Barbosa was trying to cut inside, and he's looking for a penalty, so there might have been contact, and head coach Tim Strenfeld on the sideline looking back at the official as well, looking for some laundry, but none forthcoming, and Newberg will regain control on downs. But Middletown that time came up with a nice little drive that is stymied at the Newberg 22-yard line, but we'll see if Middletown can respond defensively and get the ball right back. 1st and 10 for the Goldbacks, their own 22-yard line. Chambliss going to throw it downfield off the handoff. He's got wide open at the 40-yard line, and the ball falls incomplete. Too much air on that football, because if he leads it, it's an easy touchdown for 78 yards. The intended receiver was Jaden Hines, and the Middletown secondary did a nice job of running back to make sure they could dislodge the football, and that's what they did. Chambliss took the handoff from the quarterback and then went back and just threw it. And there's a reason why he's not the quarterback. There was a lot of air in that football. Second and 10 for Newberg. Montgomery in the backfield. Barnwell back to pass. This time he's going to go downfield. One-on-one coverage. Nice job that time by Garcia, defending on the far side of the field against Hines once again. Couldn't make it work with their running back, so they used the quarterback that time. They're testing that Middletown secondary, trying to put the Midi Bears away here in the first half. 3rd and 10 for Newberg. Their own 22. Back to passes Barnwell. Good rush by that Middletown front line. He's got Chambliss on the far side, trying to get around for a first down, but a nice job that time by Jelani Graham defensively, and Newberg will be short of the first down. It's going to bring up a 4th down, and it looks like there is a flag of holding on the play against the Goldbacks. Big decision here for Tim Strenfeld, the head coach for Middletown, trying to decide if he'll take the 4th down or push the Goldbacks back and try to gain some field position.
Holding, Newberg, 10 yards previous spot, replay the down.
Interesting call by Coach Strenfeld. The Goldbacks have been able to put up some big yards on big plays, but he's chosen to take the penalty instead of the play, which would have resulted in a 4th down and 4. Not sure if head coach Strenfeld thought the Goldbacks might even try going for it deep in their own territory with a big lead. But Coach Strenfeld also trying to gain back some field position here. So it's 3rd down. The ball's marked at the 12-yard line. They need to get to the 32, so 3rd and 20 for Newberg from their own 12. Barnwell Back to pass over the middle on the near side, and falling down on the play was the intended receiver for the Goldbacks, number 2. That was Jasir Davis, but he was closely guarded by Midi Bears' Kayvon Harrison, and Newberg, for the first time this evening, is going to be forced to punt deep in their own territory. Number 25 for the Goldbacks is on punting duties, Santos. A nice kick coming down on a fair catch, called at the 47-yard line by Middletown's Garcia. First and 10 for Middletown from the Newberg 48-yard line. There's been a little bit of a momentum for Middletown. Their last drive, they drove it from the 28-yard line, from their own 22-yard line, that is, to the Newberg 22 before the drive stalled. And now a 3-and-out for Newberg has given the ball back to Middletown in Newberg territory at the 48, first and 10. Inside handoff, Jelani Graham at the 45, tried to spin away at the last minute to gain an extra yard, but a nice carry on first down by Graham, his best of the evening so far. And they'll mark it at the 44, 43-yard line. Pickup of 5 for Graham. Only the third carry of the night for Jelani with 6 yards. Graham again on the handoff, over the middle at the 40. Still on his feet at the 35, and almost got away before he's finally a shoestring tackle by number 13, Cole Malarkey. But a nice job getting the ball from the 43 all the way down to the 33, a 10-yard pickup for Jelani Graham in a Middletown first down. So the last 2 offensive possessions, much better for Middletown. They just got to be able to put some points on the board. And the Midi Bears will get the ball back to start the second half. You can tell a little bit more confidence by Middletown now that they've stemmed some of the Newburgh momentum. Handoff on the far side, trying to get around the corner. So got some speed, but good pursuit by Newburgh against Javion Roldan, who tried to get to the far side. Picked up a couple of yards on the play. We'll see where they mark the football. Going to put it at the 32-yard line, so a 1-yard pickup for Roldan. 2nd and 9. Rolling to his right is Russo, throwing downfield. Beautiful catch near the 21 by Barbosa for the Midi Bears. It's going to be enough for a Middletown first down after the 10-yard throw and catch by Russo to Barbosa.
Timeout, Newberg, second charged.
So with 5:51 remaining here in the first half, Newberg head coach Bill Bianco not happy with his defense, calling his second timeout of the half. They lead at 21-0. And whereas Newberg was the dominant team in the first quarter, Middletown's had the better edge here in the second quarter, but haven't been able to put up any points on the board. At halftime, we'll have a performance by the Middletown High School cheerleaders, as well as the marching middies, and an introduction of Middletown youth football as the programs continue to grow here in the city of Middletown. Public address announcer Jeff Shuko will lead us in the introductions of the Division I, Division II, and Division III teams here in Middletown. 3 touchdown scores on the ground by Bruce Montgomery for the Goldbacks, 1 from 24 yards out and another 2 from 8 and 5 yards out respectively. 1st and 10 for Middletown. This is about where the drive stalled last time. We'll see if Middletown can finally knock that door down and get into the end zone. Russo from the shotgun. To his right is Jelani Graham. Back to pass is Russo, looking towards the end zone. Looking for Barbosa, and it is almost intercepted. It was in double coverage. The ball goes off the hands of number 2, Jasir Davison. He's holding his hand, as I think he got hit by his teammate's helmet as they came together trying to come up with an interception. Ill-advised throw by Russo. Not coming off of the throw to Barbosa. Despite the double coverage. Looked like it was, his intent was going to the end zone, and he was not going to get away from that. 2nd and 10 for Middletown. Newberg 21-yard line, and it's going to cost the Goldbacks 5 yards on an encroachment.
Offside, Newberg, 5 yards, repeat the down.
That'll help the Midi Bears out a little bit on the drive. They get their deepest penetration into Goldback territory. The ball now at the 16-yard line, 2nd and 5. Russo, again, looking for the receiver. What a beautiful one-handed catch on the near side. James Mays. He drove his defender back towards the goal line and then came back towards the football. And it was a line drive thrown by Russo, and that gets it all the way down to the 8-yard line. An 8-yard pickup for Mays. 1st and goal for Middletown. From the Newburgh 8-yard line, 5.5 remaining. Clock winding down here in the first half. Plenty of time on the play clock as Russo looks back to head coach Tim Strenfeld on the sideline for some direction. Back to pass again, Russo trying to find on the far side. Wasn't sure if he was going for Garcia, who was kind of headed in that direction, but already driving his defender back was Joseph Mann, so the ball fell kind of in between both of them. A little surprised they didn't try Jelani Graham on the opening play inside the 10. Likely to be 4-down territory, down by 21 for Middletown. This time running in with the play is Rodon. Coming out is Barbosa. On the far side, you have Joseph Mann and Garcia's the inside receiver. Jelani Graham in the backfield. Rodon getting the football. Going to try to get around that corner, and a nice job tripping him up. Defensively is number 3 for the Goldbacks, Liam Ellers. Second time they've tried that play, but with the wide field, there's just a lot of speed defensively for Newberg. Third and goal. Middletown getting it down to the Newberg 8, but haven't been successful on their last 2 plays. Russo back to pass. On the near side, Barbosa trying to cut back in. Can he get in? He leaps forward, but they're going to mark him just down at the last minute, and I think that's a great call by the official. His knee was down as he was lunging towards the end zone, and I think Russo's going to tell his team to just rush up to the line of scrimmage. 4th and goal from the 1-foot line. Will they give it to Jelani Graham? And it's going to be a timeout by Newberg, by head coach Billy Bianco. He did not like the fact that the Midi Bears ran up quickly.
Timeout. Newberg. Third and final.
And a gallant effort by Barbosa, trying to get that last yard, lunging towards the goal line, and just fell about a foot short after the 7-yard catch from Russo. A huge play here coming up on 4th and goal for Middletown from the Newberg half-a-foot line. You would think Jelani Graham with the workhorse would get it, but Newberg's thinking about that too. So does Middletown try to surprise them? As the light show goes on here at Middletown. The light show goes on with some music. A great job done by the technical staff here at Middletown High School and Fowler Field. A beautiful facility that will be hosting the New York State Eastern semifinals this year in late November once again, like they have over the last several years. But before that, they'll also be hosting the state soccer playoffs. Russo's going to be under center this time. Everybody at the line of scrimmage with the exception of one receiver, Barbosa, on the near side. Russo's going to take it himself. What's going to happen? Is he in the end zone? And he is! The second effort by Anthony Russo with some help from Jelani Graham pushing him from behind, and the Midi Bears are on the board. Anthony Russo from 1 yard out, and the Midi Bears respond after falling behind 21-0 with a nice drive, their second straight drive that showed some promise. Do have a whistle on the play as the referee comes over to talk to head coach Tim Strenfeld. 3:45 remaining here in the first half. I believe that might be face-on trying the extra point. The holder is Joseph
After the play was
Mann.
over, we have dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct on the Newburgh sideline. It'll be enforced on the kickoff.
And a big call with 3:45 after the touchdown on sportsmanlike conduct. It'll cost Newberg on the kickoff 15 yards. Castillo in to attempt the extra point for Middletown. High snap brought down by Mays. The kick is up. And the extra point is good by David Suazo Castillo. And with 3:45, Middletown responds with a touchdown of their own, and they trail it 21-7 here at Fowler. First quarter, all Newburgh. Second quarter, all Middletown. But the Midi Bears need some more help if they can somehow come away with a stop here defensively. They have all 3 timeouts remaining. Newburgh has none. Or maybe even come up with a turnover. And don't rule out head coach Tim Strenfeld trying to put one up his sleeve in the form of an onside kick. Although the Midi Bears get the football to start the second half, so I think the call here with 3:45 would just kick it as far as you can and let Newberg try to drive down the football field. Or as I mentioned earlier, maybe you can come away with a turnover. So Middletown, after the 15-yard penalty for the unsportsmanlike by the Goldbacks, will be kicking off inside Newburgh territory. You don't want to kick it out of bounds because that'll cost you yardage on a penalty. So probably, my guess is a little squibbler right down the middle. Castillo in again after the extra point. Going to try to kick it probably near the near side. That's where all the middies are stationed right now. And it is a little squigger. Goes over one of the would-be kick returners. Boy, that took a big bounce. Newberg does come down with the football at its own 32-yard line, and they'll take over 1st and 10 with 3:43 remaining in the first half, and the Goldbacks holding that 14-point lead. Talked about how last week Middletown fell behind Cornwall 17-0. Did a nice job of adjustments in the at halftime and almost pulled off an upset. This would be considered an upset as well, despite the Midi Bears being at home. Almost a bad snap, and that messes things up, and Middletown right away comes up with a stop on first down. Barnwell took a bad snap, was able to handle it and hand it off to Montgomery, but by that time, Midi Bears were in the backfield. It's a loss of 4 on the play, 2nd and 14 for Newberg from their own 28-yard line. First loss on a carry in the first half for Bruce Montgomery. Did have his first carry for no gain, but that's the first one for a negative yardage. Barnwell rolling to his right, looking downfield. Double coverage. Does he find a receiver? Almost hooked up with number 4, Jaden Hines, but good help by that Middletown secondary. And just like that, no time goes off the clock. Middletown still has all 3 timeouts. And with 2:57 remaining here in the first half, Newberg has a 3rd and 14 from their own 28. We'll see if Newberg tries to run the football and at least force Middletown to get a timeout or even get the first down by Montgomery, who's more than capable of carrying the ball for a first down from 14 yards out. But Barnwell, low snap, almost fumbles it, tries to get it off to Montgomery. He does find him, but Middletown does a nice job defensively, and head coach Strenfeld may call the timeout here, and he does. And the throw and catch from Barnwell, who did a nice job handling the fumbled snap.
I'm at Middletown. That's their first.
They picked up 3 yards on that reception. And it's going to bring up 4th and 11 for Newberg from their own 30-yard line. And they'll be in to punt the football with 2:41 remaining here in the first half. And the Goldbacks just letting Middletown creep back into this ball game little by little. And a reminder that the Midi Bears do get the football to start the second half. Coach Strenfeld has got to like the fight in his team. They just have not been able to get off to good starts in these football games, but to their credit, they have not given up. Garcia stationed for Middletown back at his own 40-yard line. Barbosa also going back there. Steiner in to punt the football. Kate's coming down at about the 38-yard line. Nice job on coverage by that Newburgh special teams led by number 13, Cole Malarkey. Barbosa on the return. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Middletown. First and foremost, if you're a Midi Bear here, you will want to avoid the turnover. You want to end this half either with no score or with the ball still in your hands, because you do get the football back to start. Again, no wind. It is a very crisp fall night here in Middletown. Temperatures in the low 50s to upper 40s. Russo from the shotgun this time. To his right is Graham. Cherry in motion. Rolling towards his right, looking downfield, one-on-one coverage. Barbosa looking for the football, but it falls short. He was defended well by Jasir Davis for the Goldbacks. And Davis actually was closer to the football than Barbosa. .227 remaining here in the first half. Newberg 21, Middletown 7. 2nd and 10 for Middletown from their own 37-yard line. Russo again rolling towards his right. Over the middle. Caught by Barbosa. Enough for a Middletown first down, I believe. Looks like there's a penalty flag, though. And that's coming back. Unfortunately, a hold against Middletown. And that
Holding, offense, 10 yards, previous spot, Pete second.
So that'll negate the first down catch from Russo to Barbosa, who made a nice catch near the midfield. And that's a huge holding call because now it puts Middletown back another 10 yards, 2nd and 20 from their own 27-yard line. And now Newberg's thinking perhaps we can still sneak in another possession before halftime. Trips receiver on the near side. You got Garcia, Barbosa, and I believe that's James May on the near side. Looking downfield. Garcia back to the line of scrimmage. Nothing doing at it. He's pummeled on the play by Chris Leggett. Clock will run. Newberg doesn't have any timeouts remaining. 3rd down. Give him a yard on that play to the 28. And I think the Midi Bears are going to be content driving this clock all the way down as they face a 3rd and 20. So Coach Strenfeld would likely call a timeout once it gets to about 1 second on the clock. This will take it down to about the 1 minute mark, just north of 1 minute. And with 1:02 remaining in the first half, Middletown calls timeout.
Just second.
Ed Estrada, Ed Diller bringing you all the action from Fowler Field here at Middletown on 845 Sports Nation, simulcast with Midi TV. And the light show starts once again here at Fowler. We'll have the cheerleaders, the marching middies, and Middletown Youth Football all entertaining you during halftime. Midi Bears facing a 3rd and 20 from their own 28-yard line. They need to get towards the 47 in order to get a first down. So it's 3rd and 19, that is. 1:02 remaining here in the first half. They trail it by 14, 21-7. On what's been a tale of 2 quarters. Newberg dominating with some big plays on the ground from Bruce Montgomery in the first quarter, coming away with a 21-0 lead. Middletown was able to put a score up on their last offensive possession. They've had 2 solid offensive possessions here in the second quarter and have outplayed the Goldbacks. But again, only coming up with the 1 score. Right up the middle, Jelani Graham. That's a safe call by Coach Strenfeld, knowing he's going to get the football to start the second half. And this will run down another 40 seconds. Still haven't started the play clock, so this can wind down the rest of the half. So about a 2-second difference between the play clock and the game clock. And the referee trying to make sure that they restart. So this is going to run out the half now. It looks like. The officials still talking on whether or not they should allow some additional time on the clock, but right now it's winding down inside 5 seconds. And that'll do it. But I think they're still talking. They're going to call a Middletown timeout. And they're still talking whether or not halftime. The halftime clock has already started up on the board. See if we can get an explanation here by the official. We definitely have not broached halftime. There was a difference from when they started the game clock. Here's the official.
All right, please reset the game clock to 16 seconds. 16 seconds.
So we're back here in the second quarter. There's still 16 seconds remaining. Middletown will be forced to punt the football. And Newberg will have an opportunity here. We have not seen the Middletown punter really put a lot of distance on any of his kicks. So this could result in still pretty good field position to allow Newberg at least one Hail Mary downfield before halftime.
We need to reset the game clock to 16 seconds. Thank you.
So Middletown will punt the football and hope to avoid disaster here on the last couple of plays. Face on in to punt the football. The Newberg punt returners are stationed themselves at their own 45-yard line. It's a low kick coming down at about the 45. And I thought he caught a fair catch, and that's what's going to happen here. It's going to be a flag because I saw a fair catch signal by the punt returner, and then he took off. I guess it's worth trying. So an illegal fair catch by Newberg. It's going to set them back.
All right, we have an illegal fair catch. Legal fair catch signal on Newberg. 15 from the spot of the reception.
So they'll mark it from about the 45-yard line back to the 30. And actually it'll be inside the 30 to about the 28-yard line. And Middletown secondary already stationing themselves about as far as they can. And their coach is still saying go back even further to make sure they don't give up a long play, which they did. I believe last week. And they're just going to take a knee, the Goldbacks, by Barnwell. And that'll wind down the rest of the couple of seconds that were left here in the first half. So, a game where the Goldbacks looked like they were going to run away with it at 21-0 after one quarter. Middletown responds in the second quarter with a touchdown for themselves, and they'll have it to start the second half on what will be a very important drive for the Midi Bears. They responded last week against Cornwall. We'll see what they do this evening here at Fowler against Newburgh. We're going to take a break here from the announcing side of the game and bring you some entertainment at halftime. The marching middies along with the Middletown cheerleaders as well as Middletown youth football. But for now, we've reached halftime here at Fowler on 845 Sports Nation and Midi TV. It's Newberg leading Middletown 21-7 at the half. Welcome back here to Fowler Field on the campus of Middletown High School. Ed Estrada and Ed Diller bringing you all of the action. Section 9 Class AA football. The Midi Bears and the Goldbacks of Newburgh, with the NFA leading this ball game 21-7, although on the board right now they have no score, which I'm sure the Midi Bears would be more than happy to take. So Middletown, off of that momentum in the second quarter when they put up their only score of the ball game, will have the first possession of the second half, and it is a very important possession for Middletown football here in 2024-25 as they come into the ball game with a record of 1-4, but they are 1-0 in divisional play as the ball goes through the end zone. And so Middletown will start deep in their own zone, 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. The Goldbacks put up 21 points in the first quarter. And then Middletown had the better of the play in the second quarter. They had a good opening possession of the second quarter that stalled at the Newberg 22-yard line. Then a couple of 3-and-outs defensively, and Middletown was able to put up a score off the passing of Anthony Russo, who replaced Middletown freshman JoJo Royal, who's out for the year after knee surgery. Russo from the shotgun. Graham off the handoff right up the middle. Gains about a yard on the play to the 21, 2nd and 9 for Middletown. Fifth carry of the night for Graham. Newberg's done a nice job of holding him at bay. Only 17 yards on the night for Graham. Russo, this time Barbosa in motion on the near side. Back to passes, Russo. Did a nice job getting it over the linebacker, but it falls short. Joseph Mann was the intended receiver, and just like that, it's 3rd and 9 for Middletown. Garcia comes into the ball game. Rudy Cherry comes towards the sideline as Russo gets his play call. Four receivers split, 2 to either side, and it's going to be a 5-yard freebie from Newberg defensively.
Ball. Offside, Newberg.
Second offside call for the Goldbacks this evening. It's going to cost them 5 yards and make this a much more manageable 3rd down play for Middletown. The 3rd and 9 becomes a 3rd and 4 for the Midi Bears. Back to passes, Russo over the middle. He's got a receiver near the 1st down marker. Looks like he's about a half a yard short. Barbosa with the reception. 3 yards on the play, making it 4th and 1. And what do you do if you're Middletown? Do you punt the football or do you try to hedge your bet here? It looks like they're going to go for it, and this, folks, could be the play of the game for Middletown here. 4th and 1 from their own 29-yard line, trailing by 14. Russo under center. Looks like they might be trying to draw Newberg off sides. They are going to snap it. Graham up the middle. Does he have enough for the 1st down? And he does. A gutsy play call by head coach Tim Strenfeld. And the Midi Bears keep the drive going at the 31-yard line. How about that? 2 yards on the pickup and a big 2 yards for Jelani Graham. And the Newberg mistake keeps Middletown on the field. Russo under center once again. Jelani Graham in the backfield. Back to passes, Russo off the play action, down the middle. He's got Barbosa at the 40, the 35, the 30. Still on his feet inside the 25, and the Midi Bears strike quick here in the second half. Barbosa from the 31 of Middletown all the way to the 23-yard line, 1st and 10 for Middletown. "46 yards on the throw and catch. Anthony Russo to Aiden Barbosa, and we'll see if Middletown can finish this drive off. Under center, Russo. Back to pass once again, looking to the end zone. One-on-one coverage, almost coming down with it. As the intended receiver on the far side, I believe, was Rudy Cherry. He was defended well on the play by number 13 for the Goldbacks, Cole Malarkey, as that one is overthrown. 9:15 remaining here in the third quarter. Newburgh 21, Middletown 7. This drive to start the third quarter kept alive by, or really not kept alive, but made easier by a Newburgh penalty. A run right up the middle. Pickup of about 3 yards and a late flag coming in. And I see some despair in that Newburgh side. So this might be going against the Goldbacks. Could this be another inopportune penalty against the team in white? They are going to, looks like, mark it off against Newburgh. And we'll see if this will give Middletown another first down.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the defense. Half the distance to the goal line, first down.
We are watching the Goldbacks disintegrate here after a 21-0 lead. We'll see if they've got enough to kind of hold on. But with 9 minutes left in the third, Middletown off of the unsportsmanlike penalty by Newberg gives Middletown 1st and 10 from the 11-yard line. They can get a first down before the end zone. Russo from the shotgun. Graham on the carry. Good pursuit, but Graham still on his feet, and he gets something out of nothing inside the 10-yard line, and what looked like a 1-yard loss ends up being a 5-yard pickup down to the, we'll mark him at the 7-yard line for a pickup of 4 for Graham. 2nd and 6 at the Newburgh 7-yard line. Need to get this ball in, this call in quickly as they change personnel on the offensive side. 10 seconds left on the play clock. They rush up to the line. 2nd and 6 for Middletown from the Newburgh 7. Graham once again cuts back inside the 5-yard line near the goal line. Did he get in? Touchdown, Middletown. Jelani Graham from 7 yards out. And this game is changed. It is now 21-13 with a point after pending for the Midi Bears. Newburgh with 2 penalties on that Middletown drive. The first one to make a 3rd and 9 into a 3rd and 4, which Middletown then converted into a first down. And then a 2nd down, resulting in a first down after an unsportsmanlike. Castillo in for the extra point. Bad snap. Man picks it up and he's tackled on the play. And that's a big miss for the Midi Bears on the extra point, but nevertheless, they've got themselves back within a one-score opportunity with a 2-point conversion as they're down by 8 with 7:41 left in the third quarter. So on the strength of the passing attack from Middletown, a 46-yard hookup from Anthony Russo to Aiden Barbosa that put the ball deep into Newburgh territory for the Midi Bears. They convert on the 7-yard touchdown run by Jelani Graham, and just like that, a 21-0 deficit is down to 21-13. Talked about it in the first half. The Midi Bears, after falling behind 17-0 to a Cornwall team that is one of the best in the area, came back in the second half and had an opportunity to win that ball game late. And they're trying to not only repeat it here at Fowler, but come up with the win. Castillo in to kick off. Liner coming down near the 10-yard line. Going to roll it to see if it'll go out of bounds, but coming up at the 10-15. Good coverage by that Middletown special teams just across the 20-yard line where Newberg will take over 1st and 10 after the return by number 9, Timothy Patterson, for the Goldbacks. So we'll set the scene here for you here at Fowler in Middletown. 7:36 remaining in the third quarter. Newberg leading Middletown 21-13. This will be the first offensive possession of the second half for Newberg. Barnwell's the quarterback. Montgomery, who's been quiet since that first quarter, has got the first carry. Good job by that defensive front line for Middletown. Rudy Cherry in on the stop, amongst others, as Montgomery does get the ball out to the 25-yard line, a pickup of 3. 2nd and 7. You can see that Middletown momentum a little bit on the defensive side. Plenty of time left on the play clock for Newberg at about 15 seconds as they head to the line of scrimmage. 2 receivers on the near side, 1 to the far side for Barnwell, who's working from the shotgun. That's Chambliss in motion, and there's a flag on the play.
Dead ball, false start, Newberg.
It's going to cost the Goldbacks 5 more yards, their 3rd penalty in the first 6 minutes, or first 5.5 minutes here on the third quarter. And head coach Bill Bianco's got to be beside himself. A game that the Goldbacks had well in hand after 1 quarter of play, but they forgot that there's 4 quarters in a football game. And find themselves on their heels right now with a 2nd down and about 13. And another, this time a timeout, having to be called.
Timeout, Newberg,
by
first charged.
Billy Bianco. And, man, to be a fly in that timeout huddle with the head coach and Newberg. 6:17 remaining here in the third quarter. Newberg 21, Middletown 13. 21 unanswered by the NFA in the first quarter have been responded by 13 unanswered by the team in black, your hometown Midi Bears. On this crisp fall night in October, Middletown 1-4 on the year, but they are 1-0 in the division after defeating Kingston up at Dietz Stadium. And if they can pull off the upset here against Newburgh, they'll have Valley Central right here at Fowler next week, and we'll have that game right here on 845 Sports Nation and Midi TV. Barnwell from the shotgun, Montgomery to his right. Back to pass is Barnwell. Looking on the near side, a nice catch made, but no, out of bounds is the call. So it's going to be incomplete, intended that time for number 8, Chris Leggett. He did come down with the football, but couldn't come down with it in bounds. And it's going to be third down, a big defensive third down here for Middletown. Newberg has it with 13 yards to go. They need to get out to about the 32-yard line, almost the 33 to get a first down. 15 left on the play clock, plenty of time for the Goldbacks. Montgomery this time stationed to Barnwell's left. Back to pass is Barnwell over the middle. He had a receiver intercepted by Middletown, but dropped. Oh, in the hands of Barbosa, who almost came down with the interception. Comes up a little bit wobbly, but I think his ego hurts more than his leg right now. But nevertheless, Middletown's defense holds. And Steiner will come in to kick the football, punt the football. And there has been a marked momentum shift here at Fowler. Garcia on the far side. And a bad snap on the punt. Steiner going to try to throw the football for a first down near the sideline. It is a good reception. There is a flag on the play. Still on his feet, and this could be a big turning point depending on what that flag is for Newberg. The question is, and I see Middletown players clapping, so this one's likely to come back, which would result in another punt.
Ineligible receivers downfield on Newberg. 5 yards previous spot, we play fourth down.
And that's a typical call when the play breaks down. Steiner was in to punt the football. The bad snap forced him to throw it, and it just made all bunch of folks head downfield illegally for Newberg. So it's going to mark off 5 yards on the play. 4th and now 17 for Newberg. And Steiner's back in there to kick the football once again. This time it's a good snap, almost blocked by Middletown. They'll call a fair catch at the 49-yard line. So after all is said and done, what looked like a Newberg disaster on a botched snap on the punt, then almost became a Middletown disaster as Steiner did a great job of actually finding a receiver. The problem was the receiver was illegally downfield. And so that forced a second punt. Steiner gets it up in the air, and Middletown will take over here, down by a score, 21-13, 5:38 remaining in the third quarter. 1st and 10 for Middletown from their own 48-yard line. About 10 seconds left on the play clock. Jelani Graham to the left of Russo. Handoff right up the middle. A quick handoff across midfield. A nice gainer on first down for Graham. He gets to the Newberg 48-yard line for a pickup of 4. And all of a sudden that Middletown ground game is starting to open up some holes. Last 3 carries for Jelani Graham have yielded 15 yards. More than the first 7 carries that he had in this ball game. 2nd and 6 for Middletown at the Newberg 48, trailing by 8. Russo back to pass on the far sideline. He's got a receiver at the 45 and the 40-yard line. That'll be a Middletown first down to Joseph Mann on the hookup. Takes it from the Newburgh 48 inside the 40-yard line to the 39. A 9-yard pickup for Russo. And man, 1st and 10 from the Newburgh 39-yard line. $12 of 16 so far on the night for Russo. Graham on the handoff. Picked up one. There's a late flag likely to be against Middletown, but we'll see. It'll be an unfortunate penalty for the Midi Bears if it is. That would stem, though I do see, I think Douglas pointing against Newberg. They are going to mark it off of the Goldbacks, their 4th penalty here of the quarter.
Personal foul, face mask on the defense, 15 yards, 1st down.
Another huge call against the Goldbacks here in the 3rd quarter. That's going to result in another Middletown 1st down after they had stopped Jelani Graham for a 1-yard gain. So we'll give Graham a pickup of 1 on the play, but another 15 yards on the face mask. And Middletown has it 1st and 10 at the Newburgh 23, 4:11 remaining in the 3rd quarter, trailing by 8. Russo back to pass on the near side, just overthrows Barbosa. He was guarded closely on the play by Noah Spearman for the Goldbacks. It'll be 2nd down for Middletown from the Newburgh 23. Middletown has done an outstanding job stabilizing this ball game after falling behind 21-0. Russo back to pass. Big rush by Newberg, just throws it up towards Rudy Cherry. And so the ball is incomplete. One of the few times we've seen that Newberg front line, defensive front, put some pressure on the Middletown quarterback. My guess is they're going to be sending everybody again. 2-down territory likely for Middletown here. With the clock stopped at 3:51. 3rd and 10 for Middletown from the Newburgh 23. Jelani Graham to the left of Russo, who's working from the shotgun and goes straight back to pass. Over the middle. Oh, he had his receiver, Joseph Mann, threw it a little bit behind him, but definitely a catch that I'm sure Mann is going to go home tonight saying I should have made. And it's going to bring up 4th down for Middletown, and they'll go for it, down by 8. Little bit of a tough catch to make, but one that I'm sure Joseph Mann is saying to himself, I could have had it, and it would have been a Middletown 1st down. Russo has looked more and more comfortable in that pocket for the Midi Bears. The junior taking over for JoJo Royal, who went down with a knee injury this year. Almost intercepted on the far sideline. And it'll be a turnover on downs, unfortunately, for Middletown. And they'll look for their defense to try to hold on to this momentum. .342 remaining in the 3rd. Newberg now has their 2nd opportunity of the 3rd quarter. Went 3 and out with some inopportune penalties on offense on their first possession of the 2nd half. but they still hold on to that 21-13 lead, and they'll try to regain back some of the momentum. Montgomery in the backfield's got the handoff from Barnwell, right up the middle, across the 30-yard line, the 35, down the far sideline. He's regained possession and more, field possession and more for the Goldbacks in the Middletown territory. Ball marked at the 33-yard line, a 34-yard pickup for Montgomery. And the Goldback sideline now back on their feet. You can hear them yelling all the way from the far side of the field. Barnwell, Montgomery again. Finding some more running room on the sideline. Cuts it back inside, still on his feet before he's finally brought down near the 35-yard line. A big pickup on first down for Montgomery. He takes the ball from the 43. They'll mark it down at the 36. That's a 7-yard pickup. He's well over 100 yards at this point. And Newberg has needed all of them. Barnwell again. This time doing a nice job getting into the backfield was Chase Blackwood, the senior linebacker for Middletown, coming in at 6'2", 190 with the initial stop, and it's going to bring up 3rd and 2 for Newberg from the Middletown, just inside the Middletown 35-yard line. Midi Bears looking to bend but not break on this defensive stance for the Goldbacks and try to maintain this game within one score territory. Barnwell is going to keep it up the middle. He stopped on the play short of the first down by a yard. So it's going to bring up a big 4th down play. 2-yard pickup for Barnwell. That's his 2nd carry of the night. 4th and 1 for Newberg from the Middletown 34-yard line. You would think Montgomery's going to be the answer here. We'll find out. And it is. And right up the middle, he's got enough for a Newberg first down inside the 30, down to the 29. A pickup of 5 yards on the play for Bruce Montgomery. That's his 15th carry tonight. About 144 yards for Montgomery so far on the night on those 15 carries. He's got number 16, and this time it's what's kind of stymied Newberg here in the second half. It's going to be
Illegal
a procedure.
Offense. 5 yards, still 1.
That's what stopped the last Newberg drive, and we'll see for Middletown's perspective if that'll happen again. 1st and 15, 40 seconds left here in the third quarter with the clock winding down. Newberg will have it 1st and 15 from the Middletown 34-yard line. They'll have to get a playoff here. It's already down to 10 seconds, so they'll have to rush this one a little bit. 5 seconds on the play clock. They do get it off. Montgomery on the far side cuts it back in. Got about 4 of the 5-yard penalty yards back, down to the 30-yard line. 4-yard pickup for Montgomery. And that's going to do it for the third quarter here at Fowler Field. So Newberg will have it 2nd and 11 from the Middletown 30-yard line when we start the fourth quarter. Midi Bears putting up a score to start the second half. and cut the Newberg advantage to 21-13. Try to get you some stats here. Pretty much it's been two players for most of the game. .148 yards on the ground on 16 carries for Newberg's Bruce Montgomery. So he's the player of the game so far offensively for the Goldbacks. And unofficially for Middletown's Anthony Russo, 142 yards. On 12 of 17 passing. Second down and 11 for the Goldbacks. Now they go from right to left on your screen. Middletown in black on defense. Montgomery gets to the outside. He's got some room at the 25 and then tripped up near the 21-yard line by Garcia of Middletown. But a good gainer from the 30-yard line down to the 21, a 9-yard pickup for Montgomery. Third down and 1, a little bit more than a yard. They need to get just short, actually going to make it 3rd and 2 here, as they need to get to the 19-yard line for a first down and extend this drive. Goldbacks trying to add to their 8-point advantage. Missed exchange, but Barnwell holds on to the football, and he's got enough for a first down, I believe. It's going to be close. A bad exchange between Barnwell and Montgomery. And Barnwell ended up keeping the football and holding on to it and does pick up the 2 yards he needed for the first down, his 3rd carry of the night. He's got 9 yards on those 3 carries, but more importantly, a Newberg first down at the Middletown 19. If Middletown's going to be in this ball game, they need to make a stop here. Montgomery still on his feet at the 15-yard line before he's finally brought down. Number 33 for the Midi Bears making the tackle. That's Marquise Burgos. Pickup of 5 on the play as the yardage continues to pile up for Bruce Montgomery. He's got 3 touchdowns, all 3 touchdowns for Newberg, and he's trying to see if he could put another one up on the board while that Middletown defense tries to not break. Good job that time, led again by Burgos, who comes up with the tackle on Montgomery. No gain on the play. Only the 3rd time in 19 carries tonight that Bruce Montgomery has not gained a yard. 2 of those 3 times, he's brought the ball back to the line of scrimmage, and only 1 time tonight as he had negative yardage. But a huge play now here, 3rd and 6 from the 15-yard line of Middletown for the Goldbacks. They have that 8-point lead, likely 4 down territory, and a nice pass play that's going to give them the first down inside the 10 and inside the 5. They have a nice little trick play, and the reception to number 8, Chris Leggett. When Middletown was expecting a run play, gets the ball all the way down to the 4-yard line. First and goal for the Goldbacks. 9:10 remaining in this ball game. Handoff, Montgomery up the middle. He smells that goal line and he brings it across for a Newberg touchdown. His 4th of the night from 4 yards out. A huge touchdown for Newberg with 8:59 remaining as they now go up 27-13. Steiner in for the extra point. Kick is up, it's a low liner, and it's good. So with 8:59 remaining, the Goldbacks extend back out to a 15-point lead at 28-13 after the 4-yard touchdown run by Bruce Montgomery. Unofficially 166 yards on 20 carries for Montgomery with 4 touchdowns of 24, 8, 5, and 4. Steiner in to kick off for Newberg after the 4-yard touchdown run by Bruce Montgomery. Middletown needs to get a quick answer here. They're at the 15 on the run back, across the 25-yard line, down to the 27, where they'll take over 1st and 10. Anthony Russo trying to lead Middletown with a big comeback here. Just under 9 minutes remaining. They need 2 scores. Comes into this drive 12 of 17 for 145 yards unofficially. He's been the standout offensively for Middletown. And really starting to find his legs here as Middletown's starting quarterback. Russo back to pass. On the near side's got Barbosa at the 30. A little shimmy, still on his feet before he's finally brought down. They'll mark the ball at the 31-yard line, a pickup of 4. Sixth catch of the night for Barbosa. He's got 74 yards in the air, 46 yards on 1 big toss. Graham running the football, gets across the 30 at about the 33 or 34-yard line. We'll see where they mark the football. They'll mark it at the 33, 3-yard pickup for Jelani Graham on his 12th carry of the night. And actually, they'll put him at the 34, so we'll give him 4 yards on that. 3rd down, likely to be 4-down territory, even though they're deep in their own territory. 3rd and 4 for Middletown. Russo rolling towards his right, left. Catch near the sideline. Did he come up with it? And he did at the 40-yard line. That'll be a Middletown 1st down. Nice job on the 6-yard pickup. Russo to Barbosa. Clock stopped at 7:43. First and 10, Middletown at their own 40-yard line. They've been advancing the ball on offense here ever since the start of the second quarter. Jelani Graham cuts it back in, still on his feet, before he's brought down at about the 44-yard line. Yep, they'll mark him at the 43, so a 3-yard pickup for Jelani Graham. 2nd and 7 for Middletown as they go right to the line of scrimmage quickly. Again, they need 2 scores. Back to pass is Russo, looking downfield over the middle. Intercepted by number 13, Cole Malarkey, still on his feet in the Middletown territory at the 40 and out of bounds on the far sideline, and that'll just about do it for Middletown. Malarkey on the interception as Russo was trying to find his wide receiver, who was really surrounded on what was about 3 or 4 different Goldbacks, but Malarkey comes down with the football, and just like that, it's 1st and 10 for Newberg at the Middletown 32-yard line, up by 15 with 6:57 remaining in this ball game. Barnwell from the shotgun. Leggett in motion, back to pass is Barnwell. On the far side, he's got a receiver at the 30, the 25, the 20. Down the sideline for a Newberg touchdown is number 18, Jerron Underwood. There is a flag, I believe, on the play. We'll see if this stands.
Holding, Newberg, 10 yards previous spot, first down.
And really the only issue for the Goldbacks this entire second half has been the laundry getting thrown on the field, and this one will cost them a touchdown and take them back 10 yards on the holding call. It was a spot foul, so it's going to be 1st down and 15. From the Middletown 36-yard line. They need to get down to the 22, so it'll be 1st and 14. Montgomery on the far side, on his feet. Montgomery with a lead blocker. Montgomery into the end zone. Gonna mark him just short. Give him 35 on the carry down to the Middletown 1. And was a yard short of his 5th touchdown. First and goal for Newberg from the Middletown 1-foot line. And obviously the momentum has shifted back to the Goldbacks. .206 yards unofficially for Bruce Montgomery. He fumbles the football near the goal line, the only mistake. But I think he recovered his own fumble. He did. So no loss and no gain on the play. And with the clock running 5.5 remaining, clock continues to run. 20 seconds left on the play clock for the Goldbacks as Coach Bianco gets the play in with Barnwell. They're in no hurry. They have a 15-point lead and are on the doorstep once again. Montgomery for number 5. Bruce Montgomery from 1 yard out, making it 207 yards on 23 carries and 5 touchdowns. All of the scoring for the Goldbacks tonight comes from number 1. Steiner in for the extra point. He has not missed tonight. Kick is up. And the kick is good. And with 4:52 left on the clock in this ball game, Newberg jumps out to a 35-13 lead. A game that was a one-possession game late in the third quarter. And 2 straight scores now by the Goldbacks have kind of brought it back to their side of the field. Remember, they started this ball game with a 21-0 lead after 1 quarter. Middletown really had the better of the play both in the second quarter and for about 90% of that third quarter before the Goldbacks regained control. Reminder once again, you're watching Middletown football on 845 Sports Nation and Midi TV. Ed Estrada on play-by-play, Mr. Ed Diller, our producer. We'll be right back at it here at Fowler next week when Middletown takes on Valley Central. Newberg heads on the road, I believe, next week to Pine Bush. That's going to be a huge tilt for what would likely be second place in the division behind Monroe Woodbury, who seems to be the cream of the crop, and that's going to be unfortunate. Coming down with the kickoff was Middletown's number 7, Javian Roldan, and when it got fumbled a little bit, he put his knee down on the ground, and that automatically makes the play dead, and it's going to be deep in Middletown territory. Going to be marked down at the 8-yard line, 1st and 10 for Middletown. .449 left on the clock from beautiful Fowler Field here in Middletown, New York. What's turned into a cold night, actually, here in mid-October. Rolled down off the handoff on the near side, trying to get out to about the 9-yard line. Picked up 1 on the play. We'll have our players of the game, 1 for each team. Pro Trophy by K&J sponsoring our post-game player of the game. Those are pretty much set at this point between Montgomery and for Newberg and Russo for Middletown. Russo back to pass, finds Rodan on the top side. Still on his feet. He's at the 10-yard line before he's finally tripped up at the 12. 3-yard gain on the pass. Russo's had a nice ball game for Middletown. 3rd down and about 6 for the Midi Bears, deep in their own territory. Ball marked at the 13-yard line. Russo once again back to pass. Did a nice job finding his receiver even before he broke. A nice reception by Mann, Joseph Mann, from the 13 out to the 25. That's a 12-yard pickup. So 12-yard pickup for Anthony Russo to Joseph Mann gives the Midi Bears a much-needed first down. This one not in doubt, however, with the Goldbacks leading Middletown 35-13, under 3 minutes left. Trips receivers to the far side this time for Middletown. Big rush. Russo trying to get away, but he's brought down on the sack inside the 25. Dejon Johnson in on the sack for Newberg. They'll mark it at the 25-yard line. A loss of 5 on the play. Two minutes left. Russo back to pass. Little screen pass to Rodon, who's at the 25 to 30. And down near the 35-yard line, he's going to be near a first down. We'll see where they mark the football. Looks like the 34-yard line, so they're going to mark him about 1.5 yards short. Nine-yard pickup. 23 attempts now on the day for Anthony Russo. 3rd and 1 for Middletown. Handoff up the middle, and Newberg snuffed that one out as soon as it happened. Rodon could not gain any traction, and it's going to bring up 4th down as the clock winds down inside 50 seconds. 4th down for Middletown at their own 31-yard line. They'll go for it here. 20 seconds left. Back to pass. Russo looking downfield over the outstretched arms. And that's going to do it. Last play of the game. Newberg comes away with a 35-13 win here at Fowler Field. So Montgomery for Newberg with 207 yards, 5 touchdowns on 23 carries. Both teams getting together for our players of the game, one for each team. Pro Trophy by K&J sponsoring the award ceremony, and it'll be for Newberg, obviously, their running back, Bruce Montgomery, number 1, the senior running back at 5'8", 175 yards. He was all over the place. A little bit of a lull in the second and third quarters, but he made up for it in the bookends of the first and fourth quarter. Montgomery on 23 carries, 206 yards, 207 yards, and all 5 touchdowns for the Goldbacks. And meanwhile, for Middletown, a nice performance by Anthony Russo as he continues to get his feet under him, taking over for JoJo Royal as Middletown starting quarterback. He finishes up the night 12 of 17 for 17 of 23 for 164 yards on the night. But they just could not overcome that Newburgh 21-point run in the first quarter. Did come back to make it close and get themselves within a one-possession game late in the third quarter before Newburgh finally put it away. The Goldbacks, however, need to work on a couple of things with a lot of penalty issues, especially in the second half. For a moment in time there, they seem to have fallen asleep in the second quarter and in the beginning of the third quarter, allowing Middletown to kind of sneak back in. With the win, the Goldbacks go to 4-2 on the season. They're 2-1 in the division. And they head into a big game, I believe, next week. They'll take on Pine Bush on the road on a game that's going to determine second place in the division and see who will take on the Crusaders of Monroe Woodbury. Middletown, meanwhile, drops to 1-5 on the year, 1-1 in the division as they head into a home match against Valley Central, which is a divisional opponent this year, right back here at Fowler. And you'll hear all of that action on 845 Sports Nation and Midi TV as we continue to bring you Middletown football in the 2024-2025 season. Just waiting for both teams to finish up. I think Coach Bianco on the far side speaking to his team as they're trying to get the players of the game, which we want to bring you here on our coverage before they move along. A nice job. We want to thank our Middletown folks, our Gertex, and Justin Wiley and Marcus Rodriguez helping us out, Anthony Rizzo, and the Middletown Tech team, along with our camera folks from the Gertex. Middletown students volunteering and getting to learn a little bit about live stream production here at Middletown High School as we continue to wait to try to get Bruce Montgomery out to midfield and get his award from Pro Trophy out of K&J. And we mentioned earlier Anthony Russo will be the recipient on the Middletown side of the football. Monroe Woodbury seems to be the cream of the crop this year in the division. Pine Bush vastly improved, though they did lose to the Crusaders. The Goldbacks have lost to both Cornwall and Monroe, two very good programs here in Section 9. Middletown still needing to face Monroe Woodbury. That'll be a home game here at Fowler in a couple of weeks. As homecoming festivities here in Middletown and with a loss to the Goldbacks. We'll try to give Newberg here a couple of minutes more before we sign off here at Fowler. We do want to at least be able to see the players recognized. As they try to get Bruce Montgomery out for the award presentation. Well, it looks like Newburgh's going to take its time, and because of that, we're going to go out. We do want to recognize that Anthony Russo is Middletown's player of the game 17 of 23 in the air, 164 yards. And for Newberg Free Academy, Bruce Montgomery, 207 yards on the ground off of 23 carries. And that'll do it here from Fowler Field. For Ed Diller, I'm Ed Estrada. Your final score, Newberg 35, Middletown 13. We'll see you next week right here at Fowler when the Midi Bears take on Valley Central. And we do, I apologize, as we signed off, we finally got Bruce Montgomery from Newburgh coming out here. And again, the Pro Trophy by K&J's, our players of the game. Bruce Montgomery on the left in the white for the Goldbacks. Fresh off 5 touchdowns and 23 carries for 207 yards. Third time, I believe he's gone over 200 yards this year. Making a play at Section 9 Player of the Year. And then Anthony Russo, number 13 for Middletown. As we sign off here from Fowler, again, your final score, Newberg 35, Middletown 13.